Looks like we could be in a swing trade type deal here. We're short at 23. I'm going to live dangerously here and try to project a move down to 14. Let's see if they can back this market off under the key 19 level here, right around where this orange line is. See if they can back it off. There's a lot of market rigging today, as mentioned, and so we're going to watch and see if finally the sellers can, after all these games have been played, if the sellers can come in here and really get some traction. And if so, we're going to turn this kind of into a swing trade here and see if we can get this thing to break down to the real first key level of around 19 to 20. If we can see the prices slide down there, well, first level really is 2150. These are the rigor levels. These are levels that should break, but they've been propping them at these exact levels I've been giving you. So first level, let's see if we can get 2150 to crack. First of all, holding in general under 23, cracking 2150. If we can lose 2150, then we got this really vital area in the 19 to 20 area. Okay? So step by step, we'll try to get through this and see if this can turn in. This should be able to turn into a swing trade on the downside all the way back to 14. But successively along the way, we got this first major milestone at 2150. We got to get those prices rolling under 2150. And if so, then watching currently 19 to 20. Now these levels will change a little bit, so we're going to have to watch those as we progress. They should hold the last high up here at 27. I wouldn't even want to see them go halfway through this candle, which is 25.50, but you know, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll try to keep a tight stop working. So 2150, we got to get them below 2150 and get them holding under there. Get some nice selling pressure going under there. And then the real next key level is going to be right there around 19, 19.5. 19 to 19.5. We can break 19 down. Well, we're still not through this 2150 because the riggers, see how they keep springing them back there. They're still playing games at these key pivot levels. They're really acting desperate today, more than I've seen in a long time. Because, you know, like I said, I believe that they've worked for the last couple of weeks to really prop up the Trump train, which I think ran out of steam about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And it's been mostly Federal Reserve rigging, keeping this thing alive, which is fine. I still think it's very positive, all the infrastructure rebuilding, everything that's going on, very positive for the market. But I think that they've been getting help by the bullishness has been getting helped by the Feds. And today you can almost see it because they're acting so desperate. These aren't retail buyers thinking, oh, buy the dips. Wow, it's bullish. Come on, they shouldn't sell off. I don't think that at all. I think it's the Federal Reserve riggers acting very, what I call sour grapes. Means they prop this thing up and now they can tell the market wants to pull back. So their job now is to try to fool everybody into thinking that it's not going to sell off, or sell-offs will only be mild and they'll get bought right back up, to try to prevent the avalanche of downside hammering that could take place. Anyway, we're back to watching 2150, so let's stick with it and see what happens here. Hopefully we'll get a big swing trade down to 14. That's the plan. And if we do, that'll definitely help our case for you know, trying to hit our target goal. I mean, that's all I see here is that this should be a swing trade, but they may not see that. The riggers may differ, and they may say, nope, we're going to block moves down to 17 to 20 and just keep propping it up and try to drive any of these short sellers like us out of the market. So far, they are continuing to do that. Couldn't even break 2150. But we're patient traders, right? So we can wait. Nothing going on in crude. Crude's just a whipsaw mess here. Has been since 10 o'clock when we opened the room, unfortunately. May have to just let crude go today. All right, we're still looking for pressure under 2150. They know the numbers, the exact numbers I give to you, they know them, and that's why these little kids in tennis shoes are in these rigger trade rooms around the globe, and they're sitting there chain smoking with their foot tapping a mile a minute, and they're following orders, and they're real good at what they do, and they're propping up these ticks. I believe that. I can only prove it to you by showing you the numbers and showing you how they get propped up. They're not doing it on our mini NAS. They're doing it on the somehow they're doing it on the cash with pushing buttons and shooting a million shares off across the board of key NASDAQ stocks or something. I can't imagine how complex it is. Look at all these spy systems and everything else the riggers have. You can only imagine how sophisticated, I mean, where the money is, right? It's one thing to have incredibly sophisticated spy systems and satellites and all that, but can you imagine when you're talking about the money, how sophisticated the rigging systems are? I mean, they're just like, that's probably where most of their attention goes. Most of their technology and their get the brightest people in the world to design those rigging systems. I don't know how. I can't imagine how they work, but I see them. They're doing it right now. 2150 should be long gone here. Instead, I mean, today's the most desperate rigging day I've seen in a long time. It's because there was that shot across the bow yesterday, and then today they got hammered off the opening, so they went into full desperation mode, and that's what we're seeing here. Look at earlier. After yesterday, remember this one yesterday? Look at this big hard slam. If I crunch it, you really see it here. Look at this. This was yesterday. That was the shot across the bow. So they ramped them back up, and then they got hammered again today. And so now, see this desperate repropping of the market here. So this level is really key still. How far are we from that? Still a ways off. Let me quickly run some fibs here. I like these fib numbers when at the right time. They got to be done at the right time and the right numbers. And let's make it a little bit lower just to give us an edge. And then these will give us some ideas of how much they're bouncing them back and where they ideally should stall. I can give you the micro numbers, and then these fibs give us a little bit bigger. So I'm ramping them from yesterday to that high. Where this is kind of a big picture fib thing, not exactly based on the live trade. So we're short here, 23. You can see they're hovering right around this number based on this being the high. So the first micro pullback is right there at 24.50, and you can see how they keep hovering around that number. The next level, of course, this is our boomerang orange line in the sand there at 21. That's a live value area is really what it is. That's the actual value. So holding above the value area is bullish. Holding below turns bearish. This line will turn white if they trade under this and hold under 21. So the first pullback here is right around 19 from this move. Is what we're measuring. And the 50% level of this move is at 1450. Remember, we were shorting 1250 and we looked for 1075 and it went to 10 quarter. They snapped back up. So what's going on right now is for this 14 quarter area is a 50% move of this pullback, and they're desperately trying to re-ramp the entire pullback back up, which would be all the way back up to this 34 area. So this desperate attempt to get them up to 27 now, I'm anticipating is going to fail as we roll them back successfully at least to the 50% level, 14 and a quarter, I hope. But they may desperately try to ramp them up above this last high and make some cheesy attempt to try to re-ramp that high again and convince everybody that no, it's not over. The Trump train's going to keep going. Well, our artificial boost to the Trump train is going to keep going because we need to make 2 more interest raises, and if this thing starts getting hammered for 2 to 3 to 4%, it'll be harder to make our case for that. It's probably what they're thinking in basic terms. So in light of all that, we have a swing trade on here at 23 short, and so far the chart pattern has rolled into a position that on the micro scale, which suggests that they should be able to start rolling it back lower, but you can see what's going on. They're just merrily hanging the market up, trying to give the impression that everything's just fine. The Dow's fading a little bit more here, but because of this manipulation, they got all the higher time frames on NASDAQ jacked back up. Let me check the 30-minute. That's the real key one for bigger 30. Yeah, they got them still in a, well, no, they've actually been able to roll it up to a bullish type pattern now. So same old routine here. So we're trying to get them to break down, but the way it's looking, it could just be some ridiculous thing. Our short trade, let's see, at 12 would have held the 13 ticks, but we'd had to go through all of this, which really wasn't appropriate. Usually if the pattern changed like this, you don't want to stick with the trade and get stopped out. There's no real reason to do that. So we got out on that last trade on the whipsaw. Now they're breaking them down to that level we wanted. So who knows? Very strange market today. All of a sudden the crude's finally letting off some steam, and we're still waiting for our swing trade to start getting some teeth under 21. Riggers are blocking it, and here we sit just watching to see if they're going to try to hike it up to 26 and then force us out of the trade. Not a lot we can do about it. Just I hope you can see that. It's not a damn thing we can do about it. When they're rigging the markets against the natural patterns, the natural reversal patterns, which I use a lot, and the buy and sell patterns, what can you do? So let's see if they can back them off here. We're in a sell type pattern that once again is getting thwarted, so it's not fully manifesting, but 23 or lower, then the key level under 23, 22, well, 22 to 23, breaking down. Under 22, they should be able to roll them back to key number now is 20. So watch them for 20, 22.50 to break down. And if 22.50 can break down, there's a good chance they'll roll back to 20. And then along the way, we just have to watch and see if the riggers are going to keep propping it up. And if they are, then they'll throw water on the swing trade, and it'll just be, another farce where they just don't let them go. Look at that down 50 Dow. Immediately they got it all propped back up here. So they're starting to prop the Dow and everything. I think they know that 3% pullback should be coming in pretty soon. So they're trying to kind of, it's already been stalled off, usually by mid-February. If they get, you get a weaker market. So they've stalled it off pretty long. And I don't know, some event they're waiting for that they're going to trigger or create something to trigger stronger sell-off, and then they'll sit on their hands, and that's when you'll see a natural flow of the market as the selling comes pounding in. But right now they got a tight, very tight iron grip on the markets today, more than I've seen in a long time. So we're basically watching on a micro version, we're watching for 25 quarter to hold lower and for 22.50 to break down. And you can see they got them right in the middle, and they're just trying to play games now to drive the volume lower, and they're successfully doing that. You can see on the volume meter here, only 200 contracts trading. They start dipping under 200, it gets pretty slow. And it's Friday, and now Europe's leaving the U.S. market, most of them. This time period between 11:30 and 12, Europe starts exiting. I don't know. Hopefully that'll turn into a stronger sell-off. That's what we're looking for. So let's see if we can kick them under 22.50 and try to change the face of the market here as the market starts trying to sell off a little bit. I hope so, but we got some real desperate riggers today, so let's see if the European market closing down a little bit gives us a boost. So far so good, but we got a long ways to go. We got to now crack 20 half to 20 even. Trading under that with pressure should start a stronger sell-off. So all eyes on 20 half or lower, and seeing if we can break them down in there without the riggers springing that number back and holding them under 20. All right, so far so good. Now let's see if the riggers come in here and play games, or we get the move we want. So far so good. Targeting 14. Should I lower the move to 1250? Just kidding. I like 14. 14 looks good to me. So far so good. The 14's a target. Not not looking to take profits here. Looking for them to break down further. We're in a stronger sell pattern here, and they're kicking them in a little bit. So try to hold for 14. Just be brave. They threw us a bone here. I think we got the riggers kind of figured out here so far. And they made their little desperate thing. And let's see if now they can let them go and keep them under 20. And keep the pressure here on this. Remember 1750? Remember that number from before, 1750? Let's keep that pressure on 1750 on the downside. They're going to spring back a little bit naturally. But if we can keep that pressure on, then we should be able to see them break it. Break 17 and then crack them down to 14. Should be in the cards. If they spring them back to 23, 22, what can I do? I mean, it's a rigged deal. But I do believe that they're going to crack them down. This is a swing trade, so we're looking for 14 breakdown. Let's get them going here. It's Friday. For God's sakes, let them go down to 14 so we can close them up today with a nice profit on the day. I don't know. I would like to think that they're going to do that. We got the pattern, we got the setup. I think we're in good shape to go down to 14, but the riggers are completely out of control today. Right in here, let's see if they can spring them back lower, start breaking them back down under 17, and hopefully knock 17 down. Lately, though, these big, strong spikes, last few days, all this week, the riggers come in on these big, strong spikes, and they get a real bad case of what I call sour grapes, seeing their prize rig job fall apart. And a lot of times they come back in and they do what they're doing now. They push them back up a little, stall, and then they don't let them sell off more. But I think today's going to be a little different. I think 14's in the cards. Let's see if we can break the thing back down under 17, get some more selling pressure coming in here. I got my finger on the trigger, but I'm really pretty much committed to holding out right now for around 17. Now, if we break, the last low came in at 1675. If we go back down there and there's a hard, fast dive under 15, I will probably cut the trade. But it's got to be not a slow grind lower, but a hard, fast dive under 1675, the last low. See that? If right in here they go back down here and then it really gets hit, we're going to watch this see 14 quarters. So I'm saying if that happens, we don't know yet if the riggers are going to back off, and we get a hard fast dive under 15 right towards this 50% number, I'll probably clip the trade, because that could be a very possible area where these desperate riggers could come in with this breaking really hard, and they see all those sellers finally piling in the market. That's what they've been doing lately. They're coming in blocking the big patch of sellers coming in because they're trying to punish them and make them feel like, oh, we got out of the market and look, it's still going up. But anyway, let's see what happens. So we'll watch for that. Should be good to go. I mean, the chart pattern, everything I got here suggests that they should be willing to slide lower. You can see the stalling. which is disgusting. But there's no real reason here for the market to be stalling here. It should be just flowing to the downside. Very nice. There should be a lot of sell pressure coming in and a natural flow to the downside. All right, where's that flow to the downside? We're still waiting for it. Watch for a move down to 1675. And if that goes down there and breaks, a possible selling pile-on, what I call a selling pile-on, where they take out that low, and there's like a flurry of selling coming in, and that's where I'm going to watch for the riggers to possibly get really hyper and start trying to prop the market. So if 1675 breaks and there is a selling pile-on that drives them real fast down to 15 or lower, I can tell you in advance I'm going to call to exit the trade. We're looking for 14, and there's all kinds of action right here at that 50% mark. So just watch for it. No big deal. If it happens, it happens. If they slow grind them under 1675, which means tick by tick, lower, slowly lower, little rebound, lower, lower, and we're just going to hold for 14. But if they hit them hard from here or 1675, anywhere from here or lower, and they smash them down to 15, I'm just going to exit the trade to avoid the possible disappointment of a rigger ramp up. And they may go 14, they may go 12, 50, 10, and just really sell off. That's very possible. But I got to prevent what the prevailing thing appears to be in the chess game, which is severe rigor support games being played trying to prop the market up. Longer term chart pattern readers and trend guys that can sleep with futures positions on overnight all weekend. Oh, I don't mind. I'm short for a move down to 52.50. I respect that a lot. I can't do that. Holding futures overnight, holding ETFs, piece of cake. That's why we're short this TZA. That's easy to. I just hold that, and there's 1675. Watch for a pile-on. Any hard pile-on under 15, we're going to clip the trade here. So far, the pattern's working out. Let's see if they hammer them down to 15 or lower. We're looking for 14. Let's see if they hammer them down. Watch for a break here. Let's see if there should be a selling pile-on. Normal markets should be a hard selling pile-on here. Where is it? So far, it's tick by tick moving lower. Watch for a hard, fast drop under 50. Not 15 as a number, but a hard, fast jam lower. Otherwise, hold short for 14. They're going to slow grind them lower. We hope. They could still come in and try to prop them up. At 1675 should break and get a hard selling move going here. I mean, if you want to use 15 as a limit, it's certainly fine. We got 14 as a limit. But I'm just looking for a price action, a hard dive to tell me to get out, not just a higher ticket. But there's nothing wrong with a 15 limit if that's what you want. But I think they can slow grind to 14, but a hard dive to 15 is going to get my attention because I don't want the riggers. They'll get the riggers' attention too. So I don't want to be part of them jacking it all the way back up to 20 on a hard, fast dive. Because that's the way they've been acting today. They've been acting like spoiled little children, with their mouths all grape colored because they've been eating sour grapes. Okay, here we go. Watch out, watch out. Hard, fast dive under 15. We're going to clip them short. We're going to exit the trade here. Let's blow them out here under 15 if we can. Hard, fast dive under 15. It's slow grinding right now, so we're going to try to watch for 14. but let's try to get them out. So far, should be lower to go. Should be lower to go. Let's go ahead and God, I really like them to move down to 14. I think it's in the cards, but they're playing games right around our number. Let's see, we get a hard, fast dive under 15. The concern here, obviously, is that they didn't jam 15. I just hold short a little longer here. There should be some more selling pressure coming in, I expect. Very concerned about a rigor rebound here. Let's give them a chance to sell off a little bit more. A little spring back and then maybe another pullback again. Let's give them a chance. There should be a lot of selling pressure on here. God. Don't you wish trading was easier sometimes? Some days it's just like so smooth and simple. And days like today, it's just like pulling teeth. We had them go right to 1550. You know, the numbers are working, but you know, hindsight doesn't help us. Hindsight doesn't work in the markets. Only what you do live. And technically, yeah, 1550 was nice, but I still think they got a date with 14, and we were trying to see it through. Of course, they're springing it back here, and we just hope that the riggers don't come in here and try to play the same games they've been playing and try to do a big spike back up here. And they might, and that's just part of futures trading. You know, 1550 was a very good number. Unfortunately, it didn't break. They should have sold. There should have been a pile on there. Should have been a selling pile on, without a doubt, right there. They should have blasted them lower. But they didn't. So we're going to watch for it again. And if they start jamming them up again, then we may have a problem. And that's just the way they're going today. Just the way they're rigging them today. So let's see if we can break them back down, get them back under 17, and start working the lows again here. It's the normal pattern. It should pan out. They should be able to roll them back down again. It's all part of a swing trade idea, but a lot of games being played today by the riggers. Let's see if we can break them down again. Everything's in a sell pattern. They should be willing to roll them back. You know, are they going to throw water on the sell pattern again? I don't know. It's Friday. A lot of people might be thinking, hey, it's Friday, the market's down. Maybe I should take some off the table. Who knows? Maybe that takes a few more hours before. If they hold lower after a few hours, a lot of people say, well, let's see what happens. And then a few hours from now, they're holding lower. Then you maybe see a pile on the sell side. Now we got our TZA and our SPXU to back us up if we do start getting a stronger sell-off later in a couple hours. We'll be done with the room by then, hopefully. But we're watching now for the market to break back down, back under 1650, and start rolling back lower. But right now they're kind of stalling them out here. Didn't hit our target of 14. Didn't even get them to break. We got 1550 on the low. We didn't get them to break 15, which is what I was expecting, that they would make a hard dive down there. They just kind of dribbled down to 1550 and stalled. And now we got a little rebound here, which is a big whatever. Let's see if we can get them cooking back under 1650 again. It shouldn't be this hard. With a normal market scenario like this, they should be absolutely really flowing to the downside here. Much easier downside flow. But they're not, so we just have to face what is. Let's see if they can crack them down. First thing, get them back in the 17s. Can we see some 17s here, Mr. Market? Get some 17s going again, and then crack them back down under 16.5. That's the pattern I'm looking for. Kind of erase this little upside pattern here. Love to see it, but so far, look at them stalling out here at 18. There's some 17 action. We need to see some further pressure in the 17s. Get them down, crack them down under 17 again, 1675. That last low number that we had prior to the slight breakdown under that. Let's get them back down in the 16s now if we can. And again, any hard fast dive to 15 or lower, we're going to just cut the trade. We're trying to get 14. And you got to expect these springbacks. There's not a lot you can do about them. They're natural. So the key is that a natural springback doesn't turn into a rigor ramp up spike. So hopefully we can get them to break down under 17 again. And these goofy riggers can just kind of sit on their hands a little bit. Let's see what we can do here. Hold short. We're going to see if they can break them back down under 1650. I sure hope so. Yeah, look at them stalled here. That's not a good sign, because stalling is often a sign of riggers coming in and just trying to keep the market propped up. Let's see if they can break down here. Got to get them breaking down again. Got to get that sell pattern. We're in a sell pattern on the micros. We're in a sell pattern on boomerang. You can see the crossover coming in here, but we got a weird spike lower move, so it kind of fattened up the channel there. And they could still try to reverse them on the upside. It's too bad that they're just not letting them flow to the downside. There's not a lot we can do about that. Here we go. Come on. Let them go, riggers. Ah, shoot. It's just nothing you can do, you know. They got their agenda, and we're trying to get a swing trade down to 14, and they keep propping up the dips. You know, in hindsight, 1550 was beautiful. It would have been fine, but they could have cracked right there too, right down to 1250. But the selling is being blocked, and we just have to face that. So let's see if they can try again. We're in a sell pattern. That's fine. Let's see if we can roll them back once again, try to break them down, make a hard dive down to 15 or lower, and get out of this trade. Because of the rigging now, they're kind of creating a little count on the micro charts. Are creating like a little counter buy pattern, and it's disgusting, but that's what they're doing. I can see these on the smaller time frame charts. But let's see if we can break it down again. I've still got sell signals. I've still got sell flow to the downside here. Let's see if we can break them down. There is some blocking of the drop here. Let's just see if they can get them back under 18 and start working the 17s again. And I don't know. Just the way the game's being played today. You can't get too serious about it or too philosophical. It's just the way it is. When you see these kind of spikes, you wonder, gee, why did these just disappear? All this selling energy, did those people just go away? No, there's millions more out there. They're just kind of getting, routinely blocked, trying to discourage them from selling. So let's get them going here, see if we can back them off and try to ramp them up a little bit, or ramp them down, I'm saying a little bit lower here, breaking under 1650. Hopefully we get another selling pile on. Here we go. Let's see if we can get them going here. Pile on the selling again, ramping them down. 16 quarter, good job so far. Let's break them down. Any hard drive under 1550 now. Let's, if we can get them to drive them back short on the short side, back under 1550 or lower. Let's go ahead and clip the trade and try to throw off anything. We're still looking for a dive to 14, but if we get a hard dive under 15 or 1550 even, just to prevent any problem with rigor pullbacks, let's stay ready to jump out here. Stay ready to jump out. Trying to get him a little bit lower, trying to hammer him out a little bit lower, and another dive under 15 here, ideally. Um, Man, oh man, oh man. It's like pulling teeth to get the thing to sell off a little bit here. Okay. Can you believe it? What? One tick higher? 16. 16. They're working 16 on us here. They're trying to prevent that 50% pullback of their rigged up move from today's slam to the downside. And that's right at that 14 level. So they're kind of stalling it out here again. Let's give it one more chance to see if they can start to lose some ground, and then we're going to go ahead and get out here. One more chance to try to break down towards 16 or lower. I just don't want to take too much risk on this trade. It's a swing trade that's working out for us, but it's a very small move so far. They're just not coming in with the full selling punch that I expected. And we know why. I've already explained it, so whatever. I would think on a Friday, right now, with the way this market's been acting, there should be all kinds of selling energy coming in here, basically overwhelming the riggers to the point where they're like flooded with selling, like we saw yesterday. Remember that? Holy smokes. Yesterday, they just like relentless selling action, punching that market lower. And I think it really shocked the riggers, frankly. They couldn't believe it. NASDAQ was just getting pounded. Okay, I'm trying now, move this up to 1550. Okay, I'm going to try to get them at 16 or lower. I just don't like all this propping and slowing the markets down. It really bothers me because they could spring them back to 19, and that would just be so disgusting. But it could happen. So I'm now trying to get them out at 16 if we can. I got 1550 in there on a limit, and I wish I'd had that on that first run down there. But hey, just the way the mop flops. You see all this stalling. This is so farcical. They should be willing to just drop. Go ahead and exit at the market right here. Exit at the market. 17 quarter. We're exiting at the market. Right when I said exit, they went 17 by 17 quarter. We'll take 17 quarter. Let them drop down to 1250. I don't care. They should be willing to go lower, but I just don't like what I see here. I don't like this stalling. They really have a date with 1250 or lower. You know, of course, when I get out, they'll drop, and that's what they're doing, and that's just the way it goes, But that stalling there at 17, I thought, oh boy, Now they're going to jack them up to 19.5 again. So I took the easy path. 23 short minus 17 quarter. It's a 575 gain. I wish we could have got them a little better, 2 points lower. So, but that's what we got here. And now they're pressing them lower, and that's okay.